Hello students. In our previous class, we discussed about budget deficits. Today, let's discuss about effects of government budget. In this topic, let's discuss about what are the effects of budget on the economy. Or in other terms, how the budget can be used to reduce inequality in income distribution in the society, to influence the allocation of resources, or to control inflation and deflation in the economy. Let's discuss one by one. First of all, let's analyze how the budget can be used to reduce inequality in income distribution in the society. When we think about inequality, we can see that the income distribution in the society is unequal. It means that there are rich and poor people are there in the economy. If the number of more poor people are there than the rich, it means that the distribution of income is unequal. There is inequality exists in the society. So in this regard, how the budget can be used as a measure to reduce this inequality? That's a question. How can we use this budget? What is the magical hand in budget to reduce this inequality? Means to reduce this inequality, we should have to use the technique to collect money from the rich and to give for the poor people, to distribute for the welfare of the poor people. Is there any tactic is there in budget? Yes. So using this budget, that's why we can say budget is an important tool, or budget has important role in the society. Means budget can be used. How? Yes, and through that way, budget, it makes a redistribution of income and it reduces inequality. In order to achieve this matter, there are two instruments were used in budget, two fiscal instruments. What are they? First one, taxation. Second one, subsidy. So you know that fiscal policy measures are of four: taxation policy, expenditure policy, borrowing, and deficit financing. Out of these four, here we are using two techniques. One is taxation, second one expenditure. So how the taxation is taxation? It means that the government collects taxes from the rich people as well as from the poor it is collecting, but from the rich government collects tax on the basis of their income. Such taxes we are calling it as progressive taxes. Taxation of the government means the tax rate increases when the income increases in the society. So high rate from rich people. Such a way government collects money from the rich people, and that money, that amount, that income government spends for the welfare of the poor people. Clear? And the equitable distribution of disposable income. Means after paying tax, what is remaining there, that is disposable income. So that should be in an equitable way. Means government collects more from the rich and less from the poor. Income tax rate is like that. And all the people has to pay some amount of tax. That is indirect taxes. So in this regard, government collects money from the rich people and government spends that money for the welfare of the poor people or welfare of the backward regions. Such a way, government tries to reduce the disparity in the society. That is the first aspect. So in subsidies, we can say that subsidies are a better source, better support towards the farmers, towards the manufacturers and all. And moreover, in consumable things also, consumer goods also, government gives subsidies. Food grains, government gives subsidies. Cooking gas, LPG, government gives subsidies. Subsidies for the farmers, subsidies for the small scale industrial people. So in all these regard, the subsidies are the amount collected by the government in the form of taxes from the rich people. So the disparity is being reduced. It is used to reduce the disparity in the society. So means, moreover, in addition to this budgetary allocation, to the social welfare schemes. Means, in order to provide employment in the society or to reduce poverty in the country, government has been started many programs. Because through provision of employment only, government can reduce this disparity in the society. Through that way, government can combat this inequality situation. You know that Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, MNREGA, that is a scheme. In our local language, it is known as Kudumbasri project. Those schemes or such schemes like this, it provides support for the people. Unemployed people, they are able to avail employment. Through their employment, they are able to earn money for their livelihood. So it reduces the disparity in the society. It reduces the inequality in the society. Let's say it connects the people, the society, bridge a gap between this rich and the poor. So in this regard, we can say all such schemes, and moreover, in order to provide food grains and all, Antyodaya Anna Yojana scheme, AAY, APS schemes. So all these schemes, it provides support towards the backward regions of the society. A budget is the first and foremost technique to reduce inequality in the society between rich and the poor. Second point is that how the budget can be used to influence the allocation of resources in the country. When we think about allocation of resource, we can see that this allocation of resources is not equal, or even allocation is not there. Few people, they may have more resources in their hand. Few, they don't have such resources. So that's why we can say budget also has an important role to influence the allocation of resources in the country. Means the resources, there is an uneven distribution or unequal distribution of resources there in the country. That unequal distribution, we have to make it equal distribution. How? Through this budget. Same like as I told you in the matter of inequality in this matter, we can allocate the resources in such a way to get maximum satisfaction or optimum utilization of resources or optimum allocation of resources. Let's see how it is that. Normally, in the economy, the production is carried out on the basis of market forces. What are the market forces? You know that, demand and supply. So demand and supply determines the production of commodity in the market. On the basis of this demand, almost all the manufacturers, producers, they are producing their goods and they are selling the product. That's the demand and supply. Market forces determines the production of the commodity in the market. Demand is there, definitely the producers will produce. There is no demand at all, they will reduce the production. Accordingly, they fixes the price of the commodity also. Understood? Accordingly, the producers, they fix the price for the commodities in the market also. That's a market operation, market forces. But in this regard, we have to make optimum allocation of resource in the economy. Means this resource should reach each and every hand, whether it is required for them. That's why we can say efficient allocation of resources in terms of social welfare. So our aim is to maximize social welfare. So what the government can do in this regard? When the government produces a commodity, it should be a public good. Government has to utilize, government has to allocate the resource for the production of this commodity in such a way the collective needs of the people should be satisfied. Means the necessity of the people. Government has to point their finger against the production of the goods. Those goods should have more needs, more utility in the society. Means the goods should be for the benefits of poor people rather than the benefits of rich people. It's, we can say, public goods. Such kinds of goods we are calling it as public goods. Goods used by the society as a whole. For example, emergency medicine. Government has to spend money. Government has to take initiative to spend money for the production of or the creation of such utilities in the society for the benefits of poor people. It doesn't mean that don't need to produce anything for the rich people. When we discussed microeconomics last year, we learned that when we've settled the matter of central economic problems, for whom to produce, then we discussed this topic. Goods should be produced for rich as well as for the poor. No need to show partiality towards rich or for the poor. All are there in the society. If we are producing that goods for the poor people, rich people also can use the good. Say for example, salt. All the both and rich, poor, and as well as the rich, they are using. So emergency medicine. That's an emergency time. There is no difference for the rich as well as for the poor. So government has to spend their resource. Government has to allocate the resource towards the production of such kinds of emergency goods or such kinds of public goods. That's the first priority should be given by the government. Then we can say allocation is done properly. Clear? Second thing is that when the government produces such commodities, such goods, definitely externalities will come. You know externalities? Externalities means advantages. Benefits. There are two types of externalities are there. In macroeconomics, national link lesson you might have learned that. Positive externalities and negative externalities. In the topic we discuss about GDP and welfare. This topic is coming. Externalities. So what are externalities? Externalities means advantages and disadvantages. Suppose, for example, an airport came in your locality. It has positive and negative externalities. Why? The property side, it is a positive externality. Value of the property increased. People can reach their house easily. Everything. Such facilities are good. They can save their time and all. The same side, opposite side, there are negative externalities also there. In order to construct that airport, government might have acquired the properties from the people. And the government might have given the values towards them, but it may have some disparities in this regard. Second thing, those who are staying nearby area, they cannot stay there safely there because of this pollution, sound. While the flight is landing there, definitely it will be feeling in their people, in the minds of the people, in sound and all. Trembling with fears. The small kids are there, they cannot sleep properly there. These are the negative externalities. Many are there. So socially we are considering this matter, we can say positive as well as negative impacts are there. But it doesn't mean that no need to consider airport. We are trying to reduce the negative externalities. We have to try to reduce the negative externalities. Means that to try to reduce the evils. If pollution is there, try to reduce the pollution side. It's saying that pollution is there, external negative impacts are there, that's why no need to construct airport. No, we have to construct that thing, or we have to create such assets if it is required by reducing the negative impacts in the society. By reducing the environmental degradation or pollution situations, all we have to reduce. Our effort is to reduce and maximum welfare for the people. That's the second aspect. Even if it is externalities are there, but we have to allocate a resource in such a way to get more benefits for the poor people. Welfare cannot be maximized in such a without hurting someone's welfare. That's a possible. Yeah, definitely few people will get the negative impacts. That's a possible thing. Is it? That is second point. And third element is that in this regard, government has to provide more goods for the public needs. Supply of more goods for the public needs. Means that that's the responsibility of the government. Government has to spend more energy and more money for the society as a whole. In such a how government has to spend money for the law and order in the country. That's a necessary part of the government. Internal peace. And external protection. Protection of the boundaries. Because foreign invasion may be possible. Recently, you know that there's a dispute between the boundaries of India and China. Still dispute is there between India and Pakistan regarding the boundaries. Pak occupied Kashmir. Certain areas of Kashmir occupied by Pakistan. It's there. And administration, better administration of the country. And better schooling by starting new schools for the people, for the welfare of that matter. And new hospitals. And moreover, other than all these basic infrastructural facilities, government has to provide support for the poor people in terms of subsidies also. That was the responsibility. So in all these matters, provision of all these things, government can allocate the resource in a proper way to get maximum satisfaction, and the poor people can avail all these resources and they can obtain maximum satisfaction in the society. Clear? That is the second aspect, to influence the allocation of resources. Third effect is that to control inflation and deflation in the economy. First of all, what is inflation? What is the difference between inflation and deflation? Inflation in simple language we can say continuous rise in price. Price of the commodity increases continuously without any control or without any limit. And deflation is the situation, there is no demand for the product in the economy. There is no purchasing power in the hands of the people. In inflationary situation, inflationary spiral, we can say the purchasing power of the people is more in the country. But in a deflation situation, it is opposite. There is no purchasing power. People are very poor to purchase the goods. So in this regard, how the budget can be used to control inflation means to reduce inflation, and a deflation situation to to boost the situations. Let's analyze. First of all, inflation situation. Because this inflation is a situation where the continuous rise in price. Because the purchasing power in the hands of the people is very more. Source of black money is more because too much money is circulating in the economy in the hands of the people. That's why unintentionally or intentionally they will demand more goods. Because of the presence of this too much currency in the country, people unnecessarily create demand for the goods. They will demand more and more goods to purchase goods, to add this currency in the economy. Once it is purchased means black money became white. Understood? Such a way, anticipatedly they are creating the demand in the society. That means people, they are thinking that actually demand, it is there that much. No, it's not actually the demand. It's simply they are creating demand in society. During the situation, what is the role of the government? That's what we have to think. This one, the primary role of the government is to reduce this expenditure. Means fiscal deficit of the country should be reduced. Yesterday in our class we discussed fiscal deficit. It is the budget expenditure is more than budget receipts. Expenditure is more than receipts. So it should be reduced. Government has to stop the public expenditure. The same fiscal terms, fiscal policy measures government has to establish. Reduce the expenditure. Reduce the amount allocated for the expenditure purposes in the country. Because we know that such a deficit increases, it will create three kinds of impacts in the economy. First one is that this inflation. Second thing is that over dependence on foreign countries. Third thing is that national debt of the country also increases. The future generation also have to bear these such expenses. So that's why government has to reduce the public expenditure. Government should withdraw from the expenditure. Or government should reduce the amount allotted for the expenditure. Such a way, when the government controls the expenditure, purchasing power of the people also decreases. How? Say for example, one project it is there, construction of a road, 10-kilometer road in a locality. Definitely when the government constructs the road, the value of the property in both sides of this road will increase. And near to this road, new shops will come. And those who are engaged in this work, they will get more money in their hand as their wage or salary, whatever it is that. But that's the purchasing power. Their purchasing power has been increased. Understood? Such a way it is coming like that. We can say that increases inflation in the country. They will demand more goods. Government can do one thing. Government has to increase taxation. And government has to decrease public expenditure. Fiscal policy measure. What is the policy we used in terms of inequality? The same policy we can use in terms of inflation also. So government can accumulate more money from the rich people in terms of taxation, especially in terms of progressive taxation, and that money government can keep in their hand. Don't spend anything. So can control the inflation in the economy. Clear now? As I told you, deflationary situation with the absence of better or good purchasing power. There is no more purchasing power in the hands of the people. Economy is totally in a poor situation. During this time, Government has to allocate maximum fund towards the expenditure. The expenditure policy might be increased. The money what we have accumulated through the taxation should be spent now for the development purposes of the nation. If we are spending like this, a government can increase the purchasing power. How? When the government constructs a road, as I told you, purchasing power of the people, the shops there, here and there, it will be increased. Construction of roads, bridges, metros, airports, and different such types of creation of infrastructural facilities or creation of assets. It will increase the purchasing power in the society. Or we can say collective consumption increases. God has to spend because all these things were used by society as a whole. Roads for the society, bridges, the people there, the banks of the river, they are using metro, all these facilities, airports, seaports, all these facilities were used by the society as a whole. That is, we can say it's a collective consumption, collective needs. Then we will ask only rich people only, or rich or the poor, all are using these facilities according to their different uses. It has to spend more and more money for the welfare of these people in such a way. And that we can control the deflation of the country also. And by controlling this deflation, government can increase the purchasing power. And moreover, government has to reduce taxation this time. If deflation is there, better to avoid some taxes or to reduce the rates of taxes. Lowering receipts. Receipts we mean both revenue receipts and capital receipts. What are revenue receipts? We know that. Because of this collection, government is not feeling anything. No liability, no assets, nothing. It's not creating any liability in the country, nor reducing the asset of the government because of the revenue receipts. It's only a collection. But capital receipts, it creates assets in the country and reducing the liability also. So anyway, the government has to reduce this matter now. And government has to focus more on the expenditure for the welfare of the society as a whole. Budget can be used to reduce inequality in the income distribution in the society, to influence the allocation of resources, and to control inflation and deflation. Thank you.